From Fort Hall, it's the panel brought to you by Sport Chek. Tom Gazzola alongside Bob Stauffer and Jack Michaels from the Oilers Radio Network. Guys, the Oilers score some goals. They win a game on home ice. All is well for today when it comes to the Oilers. But what did we see in terms of their play, and what are they doing well to kind of get us to where we're at right now? Because there was a lot of concern, especially after the first couple of weeks, that this team might be in some trouble.
Well, you know what? You get a couple breaks, puck luck-wise, and it breeds a little bit more offensive confidence in your team. For me, Jack, it kind of started really with Cam Talbot making some saves in that road trip. So I think that you have some players knowing that, okay, not every mistake we're going to make ends up in the goal. And then they directed some pucks to the goal, and it went in against Dallas. And it was an exciting game, and it's good, but it's just a start.
Well, and I think at 3-5-1, you're still talking about a team that's looking to climb up the standings quickly. I don't want to put too much stock in the win over Dallas. I mean, it's nice to get it, but there's 4 more games on this homestand, and I think the Oilers are going to want to come out of this homestand above 500 because they've got some tough games and a tough schedule ahead of them later in the month of November. So Edmonton can bear down in certain areas, particularly on the penalty kill. I think it's safe to say that's where the Oilers need improvement the most. It took 25 games last year before the Oilers surrendered as many as 10 power play goals. It's already game 9, and Edmonton surrendered that many. So there's some areas to be worked on, but certainly a bounce or two and some timely goal scoring from secondary people helped tremendously against the Stars.
Yeah, Jack, you bring up the PK. Bob, the other side of the special teams haven't been that great as well, although we see 5-on-5 goals the other night against Dallas, which is great, but what's going on the power play?
I think it's going to come with the power play. I think they actually had a couple pretty good power plays, against Dallas. Had some good looks. Sometimes those tend to be cyclical as well. I think that, I think by the end of the season, Edmonton's going to end up with a top 6 or 7 in league power play. I am with Jack, though. I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done on the PK. Last year Edmonton was 17th or 18th overall on the PK, and they started the year 2nd. So they dropped. This has been going on really for the better part of a year now, where they've had some challenges on the PK. The power play from December 1st on last year was the second best power play in the NHL. The power play is going to come, but I think they've got to improve some work on the PK and figure that out.
In 2 games, what impact has Leon Draisaitl had on this roster?
Well, a tremendous one, as one would expect. I think when Draisaitl, Maroon, and McDavid are together, it's the best line in the National Hockey League. Draisaitl with just a sixth sense of when Ryan Strome was coming out of the box to create 1 goal the other night against Dallas, and that was Connor McDavid's goal. But just the natural chemistry that Draisaitl and Maroon and McDavid have. And it's important to include Maroon because he's kind of the finisher, a bulky guy that can get in front. And it was interesting to see that work in reverse the other night when it was Draisaitl in front of the net and Maroon banking one off a Dallas defenseman. So there's plenty of size and speed on that line. When they're together, it's a lethal combination, and it's nice for Todd McLellan to have that default line for when he has Draisaitl centering his own line and he needs some offense late in games.
Stoff, do you want to touch on that?
Well, the other part of it is they're getting some goals from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. I mean, he's got 4 goals here in, 9 games, so prorate that over the course of the season, and that's a 30-plus goal pace. They're going to need more secondary scoring. I mean, they haven't had anything from their bottom 6 all year, and I love the size with that top line, and I also like the emergence of what we're seeing out of Darnell Nurse here through the first 10 games or so in the season.
All right, coming up, it's the Washington Capitals. Then on Wednesday, we see the Pittsburgh Penguins yet again. Guys, how good are the Oilers going to have to be on Saturday night? And then a rematch of a great game that we saw in Pittsburgh over the last little bit here.
Well, Washington's going to be an angry hockey club. They're not playing well right now. I mean, the Caps aren't doing really anything except some major damage on the power play. I mean, they've still got a good power play. Braden Holtby was chased the other night. It was an indifferent performance from Washington's back end. They're going to be angry, having said that. They're under 500. They just got blasted in Vancouver. Travis Green has the Canucks going, but this is a Capitals team that I think will come out Saturday extremely hungry for a win.
I'd like to say I know what to expect from Washington. I don't. I know what to expect when Edmonton plays Pittsburgh. I mean, Pittsburgh's a good team, albeit a team that does have some tough nights once in a while. With Washington, it's actually been 2 straight games where they've had some challenges. I expect a much better performance, but as to how good the team is right now, they got some injuries too. To me, it's a tough read.
All right, we'll see how it goes Saturday night. Oilers and Capitals. Bob and Jack, as always, have the call for you at 6:30. Ched, 8 p.m. face-off, Saturday night special.
And speaking of tough Reed, he's also our pre- and post-game show.
Reed Wilkins, a little love for him. I've got you covered right here on EdmontonOilers.com.
Read it and weep.